Alright guys, today I have the top 5 most annoying gods to play against in Smite. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you think I didn't put your most annoying god on the list, go ahead and tell me in the comments. So let's get into it. Alright guys, let's start this thing off with SHIVA at the number 5 spot. SHIVA is completely disgusting. His kit is beyond bloated. He's got buffs or debuffs depending on his passive. If he's in states of bliss, he buffs his teammates, or if he's in states of destruction, he debuffs the enemies. So, with his 1, you could get increased movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds to your allies, or if you're in states of destruction, you could just straight up reduce the enemy's protections up to 20. So 20 of both magical and physical for 3 seconds, which is just wonderful, right? That's just big brain on Hi-Rez's part. SHIVA's 1-2 combo can prevent you from playing the game for 2 seconds because he pulls you in and then can knock you up easily. If you're a warrior or a guardian, you might live this depending on who's playing SHIVA. But if you're a mage, if you're a assassin, if you're a hunter, it's just game over. You're just gone. It's done. Plus, SHIVA's 3 gives him 30% damage mitigation. He also AoE pulsates damage. If you weren't good enough to hit it, you could still do damage to your enemies. Also, you're CC immune in your 3, which makes complete and total sense. Then you have SHIVA's ultimate, which is just Terra's ultimate. Take every healer's ultimate and just plus meditation cloak. Literally SHIVA's ultimate. You heal not just minions, but your teammates. I haven't tried to heal a Titan, but I'm sure you could because it's SHIVA. But if that wasn't enough, SHIVA could restore mana with his second phase, his number 2 on his ultimate, or his 3 could just do damage to enemies around you, which is cool. It also shreds 50% of shields. So goodbye Shell, goodbye Geb shield. Alright, let's move on to number 4 on our list. I'm gonna say BASTET. Now hear me out, hear me out. BASTET is really OP because the meta right now is to snowball from the early game to victory before you can even reach mid or late game depending on what game mode you're playing. Let's talk about the most annoying things about BASTET's kit, and that has to be her 1 and her ult. Her 1 allows her to jump through walls. It's just a jump, but 3 seconds. You could jump back to your initial position. Now that doesn't sound too crazy, but with BASTET, you could just poke their entire team with your 1-2 combo, throw in a couple basics, and just jump back. You have their squishies at half HP, and that allows your tank and your magic damage dealer, or just the whole squad, to just push them. You could poke the enemy, you could finish him off. It's disgusting. Now let's talk about BASTET's ult. BASTET's ult is a line attack. She throws a, I don't know, like a ball, and then if it hits, it grabs the enemy and comes to you. Now, if that wasn't dumb enough, it also has a slowing bleed damage AoE pool where you get dropped. So if you don't Puries this thing, or you don't have Puries, it's over. You're just gone for. Either BASTET finishes you off, or her teammates come in. Now let's talk about BASTET's 2, her Razor Whip, which is an AoE cone ability where you could just apply dot and your passive, giving you physical lifesteal. And then you have the most disgusting Kitten Cannon. You throw a cat at your enemy with your 3, that roots them. It also does damage, and it has 2 HP, so you could throw this bad boy in the tower, hit the enemy, jump in, 2, jump out, and get a kill, and not take any tower shots whatsoever. You could also use your ult through walls, which makes complete and total sense. If you were thinking you were getting away, you could just snipe people across the map with this thing and just pull them to you. It's super dumb. Also, all of her abilities apply. Her passive and her cats can take 2 tower shots or 2 basics depending on who hits it. Alright guys, let's move on to number 3. The number 3 spot goes to Atlas because 1 ability and 1 ability alone. And that is his Gravity Pull, his 2. His 2 is a cone attack that pulls enemies towards you, or if you're close enough, you grab them, and then after a little bit of holding them, you throw them away. You could use this to prevent your teammates from getting killed, or you could just hold them and just let your team massacre them as you hold them. What's even greater is when using this, he's immune to knockups. So that's just cool. That's just, why wouldn't you be immune to knockups? Atlas's 1 is wonderful for clearing lane using your basic attacks, and your 1 you could clear lane, and it slows, which is just tremendous. Then your 3 increases your movement speed as you run away, but it also increases your teammates' movement speed. Atlas's passive, basically he builds up energy and then he's able to do an AoE basic attack that trembles for 2 seconds. Nothing too crazy, but it's kind of useful. Then you have his ultimate, which does actually barely any damage, but it reduces the enemy's protections, power, and you could charge his ult. Plus, with their protections and powers lowered, your teammate to go in, deal a lot of damage. This guy's just a wonderful support. Let's talk about Ares and why he's in the number 2 spot. Ares' passive is literally the dumbest thing on a Guardian. So every aura item he builds, he gets 30 magical power. So potentially, if you have 6 items that give you aura, you get 180 free magical power. Now you can build full tank, and I played against a full tank Ares who's done 49k damage in 1 game. I lost my mind. Dude, he built only aura items, and it's just disgusting. It's truly disgusting. I hate playing against a good Ares. Ares, 1, shackles you, so you can't escape. It cripples you, so it completely counters BASTET. Also, Ares gains movement speed for each character he's shackled. Then his 2 boost not just his protections, his crowd control reductions, and his HP 5. It also grants your allies the same buffs, which is just wonderful. Then on top of that, Ares 3 is a cone AoE fire attack that does tick damage as you burn the enemy alive, doing a percentage of their HP. And then you have Ares Ultimate. Ares Ultimate, if you don't have Puries, it's over. Ares pulls you to where he is during his ultimate, so if you're retreating, you could pull the entire enemy team out of their Phoenix, Titan, whatever, and then it stuns them for 1 second, allowing your team to completely and totally devastate the enemy. Ares is a good support. If you can't hit Ares chain, you're not good. Ares can use his 1 3 separate times. It slows by 15%, so you could chain up to 3 people in Joust. That's the entire enemy team. And Conquest, that's the majority of the team. That's just the squishies. And it's over. It's literally over. I'm going to do a couple honorable mentions. I'm going to keep them brief. So Tyr is such a good warrior. If you're good with Tyr, you could literally pick up the entire enemy team and just throw them into a wall. Or if you're running away, you could just bounce them away. Tyr could heal his HP. Tyr's a really good character, and his jump allows him to go in or get out if he really needs to. Let's move on to our other honorable mention, which is Nox. Nox is truly... I hate playing against a good Nox. Her 3 allows her to go into people, and she could jump out and do AoE. Her 2 silences, so if you have Puries, you can't use it because you're silenced. Also, you can't use your abilities. Her ultimate has an AoE at the end of it, and it does dot. So if you get hit with it and you're at like 100 HP, the dot will just tear your HP away. Plus her 1 roots you. It's actually just annoying to play against. You could really gank Nox like 5 or 6 times and just keep her at low levels, but really a good Nox won't let you get too close. And at our number 1 spot is ARTIO. ARTIO is Bear Lady, and Bear Lady is terrifying. ARTIO is so terrifying because the sheer amount of abilities she has. She has 7 she could use, 8 in total. Her passive lowers the enemy's protections by 2%, and that could stack up 8 times. That's physical and magical. Why would you have that on a Guardian? Why wouldn't you have that on a Guardian is the real question. The sheer amount of crowd control she has too is insane. Her 3 heals her in human form, and then it turns into a slow that turns into a root if you hit all the slow. Her bear form has a dash, she has an escape, and her 2 is a cripple, which is ridiculous, that gives you protections. Also, her bear form 2 does self buff, gives you protections on top of a 1.4 second stun when it's fully upgraded. Also, your 1 heals your allies if it's hit by an enemy god. If you hit an enemy god with your 1, it heals. Also, your 1 in bear form absolutely shreds. You are just disgusting. And your ultimate, every time you shapeshift in between bear and her human form, you get movement speed and MP5 for just switching between the forms. I don't even think there's a cooldown, so you could just sit there and spam it. Alright guys, it is the end of the video. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments if I missed any characters you thought were more annoying than I had in my video. I might make a part 2. So, see you guys later.